Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and did my mouse double click on my start recording button? No, it did not. Okay, so we're good. Alright, so, welcome back to MCSG Mondays. This one I am going to do a post-com for, just because this topic is a little more important, given that in some of my videos, in some of these MCSG Monday videos that I've done in the recent past, I've seen have some concerns in the comment section about, you know, like both parties are the same. And by both parties, I mean Democratic and Republican parties. Yes, Ice Gold is talking about politics again. Please stop him. Please, somebody get the cane and pull him off stage at this point, right? But that's the whole point of MCSG Mondays, not playing or talking about Wiz. So, yeah, we're here, and I actually don't know if this is going to be an MCSG Monday or if it's going to be a Tuesday upload. It is still the 3rd of March as I record this, but it's late, so who knows? Who knows how that'll look, but let's talk about horseshoe theory. Now, horseshoe theory is, in essence, the belief that both parties in a two-party system, as you get further and further away from the center, they start to converge again. And that's how you get people saying, oh, both political parties are the same. And, I mean, maybe this is just my POV as someone who has never even conceptualized how somebody could believe this theory, but this is effectively equating the communists and the Nazis in World War II to one another. It's like saying if both parties are the same, both extremes are the same, that's like saying the commies and the Nazis are the same. And we know that's not true. The only thing they have in common was that they were barbaric and killed their opposition. It's like, that's bad no matter how you cut it. But when you get down to it, what is sort of driving this? It's like, they did a couple of the same things, but that doesn't make them the same at all. It's like the Nazis and the communists, two very, very different political factions. And, I mean, they went to war during World War II, Germany and Russia. And, I mean, I guess I'm trying to think about how this could be applied in today's age, because I know that some people have commented specifically about that, and it's like I've said before about things like Israel and Gaza, that sort of thing. It's like, sure, there's going to be it's an ideological difference between the far right and the far left that makes this theory, that disproves this theory pretty much. It's like, do we really think that Donald Trump and, I don't know, Bernie Sanders could ever be the same thing? It's like, that's sort of how I think about it. And maybe I'm thinking about it in a little bit of a different way compared to what some of y'all think. And I know that there's a couple people watching who probably do believe in horseshoe theory, and I'd like to engage in a real dialogue with y'all, and actually discuss this sort of thing in the comments, because I think it is important to sort of, conversation is always important, and I would want to talk with y'all about this, because from where I'm sitting, there is not a chance in hell that horseshoe theory is real. I mean, of course there's going to be a couple things that overlap, but it's not due to any political similarity, right? It's like, that's why I talk about the communists and the Nazis. It's like, they had two very different economic systems and government structures, and like, it's like I was saying, the only thing that those two had in common was that they killed their opposition. It's like the Nazis running their genocide against the Jews is not the same as, you know, killing their political, I guess, opponents. and both are obviously very bad. Don't get that twisted, but I don't know. That's just where I sit on things. It's like, cause I'm trying to think of an example today. I did briefly talk about Israel and Gaza, and there's obviously it's horrible what's happening over there. I have talked that to death in other videos, but there is a staunch difference between trying to push for a ceasefire, which was what Biden and Harris did. Eventually, I still don't like that it took them as long as they did to do it, but they tried to. And then now we have Trump, on the other hand, who posted last week. He posted this I can only describe it as AI slop, because it was an AI generated video with an AI generated song about Trump Gaza. It's like he wants to convert the Gaza Strip into beachfront properties. We knew this, I knew this, and I talked about this on the channel before. And I mean, that's pretty different from, you know, wanting the war to stop. And okay, one thing that I really should get out of the way is the fact that the only reason why it went on as long as it did was because the Biden administration wanted to keep a strategic ally in the Middle East with Israel, because we're not exactly friendly with a lot of the countries and states around there. And, you know, we had things like Iran and Iraq to worry about. And having Israel as an ally over there would be beneficial to us from a military standpoint. But obviously, committing this atrocity in Gaza is horrible. And it's very hard and very messy to try and push for the ceasefire that I know Biden and Harris wanted, and while keeping Israel as an ally. And then it's like Biden and co. didn't do a great job of it, as I've said, and I feel like I have to keep saying it's like I should just have to keep saying that. He didn't do a great job of towing that line, but Trump is about as far from the line as possible in Israel's side. It's like, I don't know how many of y'all know about the what was it, the Iranian hostage crisis? I think it was the Iranian hostage crisis, where the Carter administration was in talks with the government of Iran in 1980. And because there were some, I guess, captured American nationals over there, and what happened was, and I promise this is going to come back to Israel and Gaza in a moment, but what happened was, minutes after Ronald Reagan took office on January 20th, 1981, those hostages were released, and President Reagan was thanked for that. And yeah, the same thing kind of happened again, because Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, it's like he knows that the Democratic Party, I guess, the DNC elites and all that, they wanted to keep Israel as an ally, but they weren't just going to let him get away with, you know, the whole genocide thing going on in Gaza. And I mean, Biden was pressuring him, and Netanyahu was like, no, oh, I'm so sad. I want to kill Palestinians. I really want to kill Palestinians, just unabated. And I don't like the Democrats don't want me to kill a bunch of innocent people, over 1 million innocent people. Oh no. So of course he got in bed with the Don himself, and eventually a quote-unquote ceasefire deal was reached in January of this year, and it was very similar to the Iranian hostage crisis. Trump negotiated with Netanyahu for a ceasefire for political points. That was how that happened. So back to horseshoe theory, of course. Biden and Harris wanted a real ceasefire with terms that would be upheld by both sides, and lasting terms at that, because we don't want this to just blow up all over again in 3 years. Whereas Trump wanted to get some political points and swing some demographics his way. But then, a month after he takes office, he posts that AI Trump Gaza video. And smart, okay, I don't want to say smart people, but those of us who have, I guess, a better understanding of how Trump works and like what he does and how his mind works, those of us who understand him better and, you know, didn't fall for it again. the fell for it again awards have been my favorite thing about Twitter lately, but those of us that understand how he works and how he operates knew that if a ceasefire deal was reached, it was only so that way he could just keep enabling Israel to do it again down the line in the future. And I mean, he doesn't have to run for re-election again. I mean, barring that amendment, which could happen but probably won't, unless he forces the Supreme Court to force it through, which I guess he could do. But either way, it's unlikely that he has to run for another term. So he's doing whatever the hell he wants at this point. And so, yeah, I mean, Trump Gaza is a whole thing now. And it's like, it's a little hard to describe, because you know what he wants to do with that now. He is willing to let Israel have complete control over the Gaza Strip, and I'm sure eventually the West Bank too. And people who know how he works knew that's what he was going for. But he duped enough people into thinking that that he would actually, I guess, get a ceasefire deal, a permanent ceasefire deal. And that's sort of how that went. So now it's sort of like that, I guess, is a very long-winded and I guess poorly explained example. I really just sort of rambled. But, okay, let me give you all the TLDR. So, again, horseshoe theory. People out there believe that both Harris and Trump would have been the same on Gaza. Harris wanted a ceasefire, an unequivocal ceasefire, with a two-state solution and peace in the Middle East. But she also wanted to keep Netanyahu and Israel as an ally in the event of something going on with Iran and other nations in the Middle East, just in case, because, I mean, the whole Russia-Ukraine war is a thing, and if that axis out east starts to come back together, she would want an ally in Israel. And I think that's respectable. It's just military strategy, that sort of thing. And that was her goal. She wanted to stay allied with Israel, but she also wanted a ceasefire in Gaza. And Trump, on the other hand, did not actually want a ceasefire in Gaza, as we saw with the Trump Gaza video. He has his own plans for that, and he was willing to make a deal under the table with Netanyahu to sink Harris in the election so that he could get in and do his own thing here in America, of course, but also keeping Israel just sort of in his back pocket. And I mean, if a war starts again, like, make no mistake about it, Israel is going to absolutely demolish Gaza. And then Trump Gaza will be a reality. So how about that? And if it's going to happen, I mean, Israel is going to be the one to start the war this time. And, I mean, obviously start the war this time is a little far-fetched, or not far-fetched, but not too inconceivable, given that Gaza has been an open-air prison since I was a kid. But the point stands. It's like the far right and the far left are very different ideologically. There's a little overlap in things that they do, but that's more of a statist type thing as opposed to a political ideology. So yeah, I mean, I think I should probably leave it there. I've been rambling for 15 minutes, but yeah, maybe I do want to engage with y'all in the comments about this, because they're very different, but I'm not sure how to explain it to somebody who believes in it. And I mean, yeah, if y'all want me to give better examples, because I did just sort of ramble without a script, then definitely leave a comment, and I am willing to talk to y'all about that. So, yeah, I guess bottom line, far left and far right, very, very different, even sometimes in the things that they do have some overlap in. So, yeah, Harris wanted an ally in the Middle East, while also trying to keep them in check and against genocide, while Trump was fully enabling genocide and wishes to take it further down the line. So that'll close out the example. I promise I'm not going to yap anymore. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. I've been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description if you want to chat with me some more. Definitely leave a comment if you want me to, I guess, talk about this more in an actual comment, and in a reply to y'all's comments. And yeah, I will see y'all later.